like knee high and you're holding a hammer at the dedication. And I met Darian when she was still in utero, so I claim her to be my oldest and favorite. So, but so they've been in their house for around. So Darian, you are just
21 years.
21 years they've been in their house living over in Kenworth. And then LaToya, who's with us as well, just moved into her house. I'm going to get the time mixed up, but I think in December?
March.
March, there we go. I was going to say March, went a year later. So, and LaToya is one of the last homeowners to move into one of the new houses in Northstone. And then Jose is with us as well. And Jose's house, the lot was just cleared this week, maybe last week and part of this week. And the footings we hope start, we think on, is it next week, right, Jose?
I believe so, yeah.
Right, so we got the whole span and the gamut of different people and where they are in the process of becoming part of Habitat. So let's start out by I'm going to kind of go in order that y'all have been in your homes from oldest to youngest. And some questions I'm going to ask you are going to be the same questions, and then we're going to break off a little bit and have some other questions that seem more individualized for y'all. So beginning with Tony and Darian, and whoever wants to flip a coin and talk first. So just tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of where you are in life right now, what you're doing.
So hello everyone, I'm Tony. So I love how on our screen, I'm like on the side that it says under Tony's, like underneath my face. So it's great. I am currently working at the Catawba Science Center as the public programs coordinator there, and in the midst of running a summer camp during a pandemic. It's fun and it's exciting and also scary all at the same time, but we are pushing through. We only have like 3 more weeks of summer left, I think, something like that. So it's crazy how fast the summer has moved. I am 24. I'll be 25 in November. I went to East Carolina University, studied in biology, and I am currently looking to go back to school. I was in school at Wake Forest to get my master's in business, but I'm looking to go maybe to a different university, a public university, so that way I'm not giving my money to private institutions.
Alex Pleasant is going to talk to you in just a little bit, I think. Alex is just joined us, and he's at Wake Forest now, so he may try to persuade you just a tiny. So.
I know Alex. Hey.
Yeah. Okay.
My
Darian.
name is,
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
my
go
name
ahead,
is
Darian. Yeah.
My name is Darian Abernathy. I am going into my senior year at UNC Chapel Hill. Dang, you said a lot of good stuff. I recently turned 21. So yeah, our house is as old as I am, and I kind of like that. This is the only house I've ever lived in. I love it. I probably called my room every single room in the house. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, I'm doing good stuff at UNC. I'm going to be the chair of our Carolina Student Union there this for the academic year. Yeah, I've just been social distancing, quarantining from coronavirus. That's about it.
Yeah, great. Thanks, guys. LaToya, tell us a little bit about you.
Hello, my name is LaToya Ramsor. I'm 35. I have one son. His name is Namir, and I am a recent Habitat homeowner. Currently, I am disabled from work, but I do find time to make myself busy by volunteering at the Restore and still giving back to the community. And that's about it.
Great. There's a lot more to talk about you, but I know that. And then, Jose, how about you?
Hi, my name is Jose Vargas. I'm 41 years old. I'm married. My wife's name is Lydia. I have a teenage son. He's 13. He's about to start high school this year. Originally, we're from New York. We moved here when my son was 1 year old because we figured it'd be a better life for him, a lot more calmer than New York. New York is always on the go. We've been here for 13 years, and we're just looking forward to getting our house.
Yeah, great. Thank you guys so much. One of the first questions I want to ask, because I think it sets the tone for what we're trying to convey to everybody tonight, is that it's just a simple question of what does home mean to you? I think maybe I want to start with Jose with that.
Home,
Yeah,
I say,
yeah,
to me, it means stability. It's like,
yeah.
it just means that we got somewhere where we can be together. We enjoy each other's company. And now with the COVID going on, it's like we just spent so much more time in our house. It's like we get to know each other a lot more. We already knew who we were, but it's like I realized how much my son has changed over the years, and how he's just grown into a young man.
It's got to be fun to watch. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember thinking of my kids at that age, and you don't know if they're ever going to make it through it. But then all of a sudden you realize that they're wonderful people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have anything else?
No, I mean,
Okay. Yeah. Great. Let's bounce over to LaToya. You've been a brand spanking new homeowner. What does it feel like now to you? What's home mean to you now?
I always said home is a safe place for me, and especially during this pandemic, it has been just that. I look at it as like a foundation, symbolizing like love, support, togetherness, and as Jose said, like stability. Because like home is like, to me, it's your world, my world, away from the world.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like a good atmosphere that I can always come to.
I want to, while you're talking, LaToya, I want to ask you another question that we mentioned a little bit earlier. Is that a lot of people realize that you have lupus, and I know that home for you is got to mean a little bit something different too, right now, especially.
Yeah, with lupus, it's just a weak immune system. Well, my immune system is attacking my body. So with that being said, with the coronavirus, I'm having to take, extra precaution. I've actually been staying in the house, only went out a couple times in order to get like Walmart pickup delivery. But I'm constantly washing my hands, even at home. And when I do have, family visiting one at a time, we do wear masks and that point. But, just with weak immune system, I have to be really, really precautious. And I'm trying to take my time to do that day by day in order to stay healthy.
Yeah. We all hope the best, and I'm glad that you're taking such good care of yourself. And how about for Darian and Tony? What does home mean to y'all?
Home to me, it's changed in the past few months with COVID. I definitely ascribed it to like safety, and like kind of all of my childhood memories have been like built here. But even recently with like my participation in the Black Lives Matter movement, it's been like a space where like my friends and other organizers can come and like commune, and we can really just like, shed off like this outer layer that like kind of like this mask that we have to wear for the world every day. And yeah, that's what home has become for me. It's like this space for my family to be understood and to just, be who I am, like in like without having to pretend to be something that I'm not.
It's like it's an oasis, and I can't say that for everybody because home isn't a safe place for all people in America, because I know they're talking about that a lot right now in the media. But for me, it's a safe place. I know I'm protected in my home, and I feel like we should all, and I'm happy to be talking about this on this platform with you guys, because Habitat makes sure that people have homes and to be protected and to make those safe places for people.
I agree.
Yeah. Darian, I want to come back and ask you about the Black Lives Matter things later on, so hold on to that thought a little bit. This is for Latoya and for Jose and whoever wants to go first, but tell us how you first learned about Habitat. What possessed you, or what moved you toward applying for Habitat House?
Well, I'll go first.
Okay.
At the time, I was actually living in an apartment, and I had been there for 3 years. And just within 30 days, I had to move due to renovations, which was last minute. And I kind of did the process of trying to find another place to stay. I was kind of in the middle. I was over income for low income apartments or income based, but I couldn't afford $600 to $700 in rent for an apartment. So I went back to my mom's to stay because that was a decent place to stay. And so I had a family member that I was telling the situation to. He recommended me to go research Habitat and to try them. And he told me, he said, if they're not able to help you themselves, I'm sure that they'll put you in the direction that you need to go or that would help you. So Habitat became something very helpful to me to this day. I applied, I went through the process, got accepted, which was a great day. And, you know, from then on, everything that was needed to do, I made sure that, you know, I applied myself to that because this is something that I really wanted. And, you know, I learned a lot in regards to doing what was needed. I learned a lot in housekeeping and framing, building, and all kinds of stuff. But, you know, everything was a memory or something to take away from everything. But, you know, I'm so grateful for this journey that I've been on with Habitat. And that's why I always, till this day, you know, try to do anything that I can to support Habitat because it helped me, and I'm hoping and pray that it helps someone else like me.
Great. Thank you so much. Jose, how about for you? What led you to Habitat?
Well, when my family and I first moved here, we were living in Section 8. The lady from Section 8 told us about Habitat. We applied the first time, but since we had just moved, I wasn't making enough money, so I was rejected the first time. Then after a while, the time went by, I got situated in my job, and then a family friend, she applied for it, but she was making too much money, so she got denied, and she told us, well, you guys should try again. You know, you're making good money now, you're stable, you've had your job for a while, you know, you should try it again. And we did, and to our surprise, they accepted us, and we just on our journey. You know, we're just trying to get our house, and so far we've met so many wonderful people. Everybody's been so helpful. They don't leave us in the dark. Like now, during this time of COVID, we've been getting emails about things getting shut down, about things opening back up. I mean, you never get left in the dark with Habitat. I mean, everybody's always in contact with you. They let you know what's going on. And me and my wife, we appreciate that because, I mean, other places, I mean, they wouldn't let us know. I mean, they just leave you in the dark. And if you know, you know. If you don't know, well, figure it out. And Habitat doesn't do that. They treat us like family. So that's what we like about it. And that's how we found out.
That just makes me feel really good, Jose. Thank you.
It's the truth.
It's like, you know your staff is really good, but you want to hear it every once in a while too. So thanks. Yeah. Jose, tell me something about like an achievement maybe that something like an accomplishment that you've had that means the most to you, like something that you've had that's been a big success for you that's really meant a lot to you.
Well, for me, it was becoming a father. That's like the biggest achievement that I'm the most proud of, because when my son was born, I was 25 years old, and I was in and out of jobs. I mean, I was just basically being a youngin', being stupid. And my wife told me she was pregnant, and I told myself, like, we have to settle down. You know, I have to start taking care of my responsibilities, and everything just changed from one day to another. It's like I went from being a silly little kid to being a father, and it just, I don't know, it just felt so good that I had somebody to take care of.
Hmm. Nice. That's sweet. Thank you. I'm not going to ask the Abernathy twins, or we'll be here all day long. But I am going to ask you. Tell me at least one thing, one achievement that y'all are most proud of each. And they're not twins, by the way. I'm just picking on them.
I thought I.
You can go first.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. One thing.
It's not kayak. I know it's not kayaking, Darian. So.
My biggest achievement would have to be, I want to say, like, finding what I'm passionate about. And I know that's something small, but going to college, you know, I went in, was like, oh, yes, I'm going to medical school, and that was my route. But then actually being led by one of my mentors to one of my internship allowed me to realize that I am an environmental educator. I love educating the public. I love to talk to people. I love to teach people.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my biggest accomplishment.
I wonder where that comes from, the teaching people thing. Yeah.
I guess my most proudest accomplishment, I don't know. I like to live my life in a way that inspires other people. And so, like, anytime someone has, like, asked me to be, like, a mentor, or, like, hey, will you lead this thing? That always, like, gives me little butterflies in my stomach. I think I tried to say tummy and stomach at the same time. In my stomach. So, yeah, just, like, having, I guess, just getting, like, acknowledgement that, like, hey, we see how hard you're working, and, like, we're proud of you. It's just kind of like a small way to say, like, hey, we're proud of you, and we want you to, like, inspire someone else the way, like, you've been inspired. So
Yeah.
that's
Great. Thank y'all. Latoya, I was going to ask you, because you're fresh off of the home construction experience, but what was your favorite memory of your house being built?
Oh my. All of it was a learning experience, but I really took away from the framing, because it was the beginning of, you know, the process of, like, okay, we're getting started. This is really becoming true. And it was just amazing to see how it was all put together like a puzzle. But painting was one of my favorite, along with framing, because I do love to paint, and it was fun.
I said no one ever. I love to paint, so thank you. It's like nobody wants to paint on a habitat site usually. I think you're really good at it too.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. This one's for Jose, and it's we talked a little bit about the pandemic and how it's affecting folks, and it's such a turbulent time. And if you've had experience with habitat, it's we know internally that it's not the easiest pathway to home ownership, even in the best of times. Tell me a little bit about why it's important for you to partner with Habitat anyway, even in this time, and what inspires you right now to stick with it, even when it's so tough.
Well, it's easy to give up, but I mean, like I said, you guys keep us in touch. You let us know what's going on. So I mean, you don't feel like giving up with you guys. It's like you feel like, okay, they're helping me. So for me to give up, for me it feels like it'd be disrespectful. Like, because you guys put it in so much time to help us out. But for us to just walk away and say we'll find another way to do this, I don't know. It just doesn't seem right to us. Mm-hmm. And what inspires me to stick with you guys is like, it's for the same reason. You guys are so helpful, and I like to stick with what I started. So I like to teach my son, if you start something, then you finish it. Don't just because it becomes difficult, we don't walk away from it. We try to stick with it, and till we get to the end, you know, because sooner or later we'll get to the end. You know, sometimes it may get harder, sometimes it'll be easy, but we'll always get to our final destination sooner or later.
That's really nice. Thank you. I got a question for LaToya now. Kind of sounds a little bit like some of the other questions, but how has owning a home made a difference for your family? And maybe to hear a little bit about how Namir's life has changed in the short time he's been in this house now.
Namir's life is his room. He loves it, and I think it could get in this house and having his own personal space couldn't come at a perfect time, because with the pandemic, it's just like if we have to go onto our own spaces, like, and being out of school and remote learning, like, he has his free time in his room, playing his game, doing what he loves to do best, like creating cars or so. But, you know, it gives him his space. And like I said, it's like our safe place. But just owning a home, the difference in our life is just like, we get to set the environment or the atmosphere. And we love to stay positive, be open. Like Darren said, it's just like here, you get to be yourself and you don't have to, you know, act or be concerned a certain way. Like, you're just open to freely talk about anything, ask questions, you know, and we try to like stick together and just bond, really, just to understand each other more now that we have to discuss the virus and upcoming things. So I love it.
Thank you. I'm going to ask Darian and Tony this question because I've always noticed that with habitat houses, people, if they've volunteers, if they've worked on a house, they will routinely drive by and they'll say, that's a habitat house. And it's like, no one else does that. They don't drive by and say, oh, that's a house that's built by Jean Glaze or somebody. It's always, which actually your house was built by Jean Glaze, come to think of it. One of the first houses he built. So you got him started in his life career. So just remember that. But what is it like growing up in a habitat house for y'all? Was it easy, or was it a little bit harder because people knew that it was a habitat house and they thought maybe it was a little different or something?
I never personally experienced anyone ever being like, that's a habitat house. I mean, I've heard that now that I've gotten older, not necessarily about our homes, but, you know, about other new homes that you guys are building. Mm-hmm. But personally, growing up, it was never, you know, it could have been said and I didn't hear it, but I never heard it from myself. My friends would come over of all different races and all different backgrounds. I just
I grew up like just understanding like Habitat built my house.
I guess I never was offended by it.
I'm like, Habitat built my house. Like, I don't know. I'm like a Habitat baby. Like, I was born like how many days after y'all moved in. And so I remember like growing up and like it was the funniest thing because like all my like friends thought like we were rich and they were like, y'all got money, y'all live in a house. And I was like, no, that's not the case. But I was like, you can come over and play if you want. Like, I don't know, I would just invite them.
And I think that's another idea is just as there's not that many people are homeowners, you know, and so just living in a home, you're seen as a little bit more affluent. Even some of my college friends who came home and visited me, like, oh, you know, you live in a house, and they lived in apartments. You know, they were raised in Raleigh and lived in a townhouse that they rented. So it was just like living in a house is this like, you know, wow, that
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had your own yard and everything.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were the cool kids on the block.
There you go. Always. So, Jose, tell me a little bit about sometimes with homes, and it becomes important, particularly for parents, I think, to leave a legacy for their children. Um, how do you think that'll work for you through just being able to own a home, like home ownership? How does that maybe change the legacy that you're able to leave your son?
Well, I think we'll be able to teach him that not to give up. If he wants something, he has to go for it, and that nothing comes easy. So, I mean, whatever he wants, he has to work hard at. Like, he has learning disabilities, and school has never come easy to him, but he tries and he tries. And I mean, he's been on the honor roll plenty of times. He's A student, so I mean, he's learning, and he's happy that he's gonna get a new home, and he's just so excited that he doesn't have to constantly move. Because I mean, since he's been born, we've probably moved about 4 times, and for him, it's just a headache to move. So I mean, as long as we leave it with him that he understands that if he works hard, he can get what he wants. That's all that. I mean, we've done our job.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Latoya, I want to ask you a question because I think you're the only one I ask this question of right now. And that's, there's a lot of classes you guys have to take as part of your sweat equity requirements and stuff. What was the thing that you learned that has helped you out the most so far? And just in general, kind of how were the classes for you? What kinds of things did you cover?
Some of the things we covered was financial stability. That's what I would call it, because it told us the importance of things that we really don't think about as everyday people. But in order to have financial stability, being able to afford what you want, and it just kind of gave you like a guideline on debt, how to eliminate it, how to save, and also with saving, how to prevent from being in a bind, whether it's car repairs, insurance claims. You already are ready or prepared for anything that comes like that. But it was really a financial stability that I really learned a lot from.
Thank you. Catch up with y'all just for a second. I had something I wanted to send to somebody. Little note really quick. Tony, tell me one of your favorite experiences in the house, like a favorite celebration or one favorite holiday or something that sticks out the most to you. You remember?
Let me think. I would say graduations at our house. Like we do it big for like college, high school, birthdays, any backyard celebration. And it's not just like one that I would say. It's whenever we come together as a family. Oh, I could say one. We actually had a family reunion in our backyard. And since my aunt lives next door, we, it was like all in like both of our backyards, and we had there was a tent out there. We've also had blow up houses in the backyard for my niece's first birthday party. So just celebration with family and good times. I'm a huge family oriented person.
Yeah.
So I love being around my family.
Yeah, it's really important. Thank you. Derry, tell me somebody who inspires you.
Someone who inspires me. Just one person?
Well, maybe let's keep it to under 20, but let's just go with maybe 1 or 2 to narrow it down a little bit.
So I don't know how many people on the call know this. Mitzi is my godmother. And she really inspires me. And I'm realizing like the impact that like women from this community have on my life, and like my mother as well. And just like I think my mom is brave, and Mitzi's just always been so sincere and intentional about how she interacts with our family, and like just seeing her and my mom's friendship over the years. I don't know, they're just really incredible women, and I'm like, they've taught me so much. Like, I love y'all. I love Habitat, and like, I don't know. I'm not trying to be all gushy, but
You're making her cry.
I know.
I love, and like the thing is, like, when something at school, college is hard for everyone, and the people I call are my mom and Mitzi. Like, they're like the top 2 in my phone. And it's just like a little text. I'll be like, hey, like if I need some good news, I feel like I can always rely on Mitzi and my mom to like, you know, be there for me and like to kind of guide me and like, I don't know, just to care, just to be like, hey, I care about you, like regardless of anything that ever happens or whatever you want to do in life, like I'm here and I'm on your team. And just having that has always been just really good to know and rely on.
For the record, I'm the no judgment zone though.
You are. My mama, she has a lot of opinions, but Aunt Mitzi, she's more like, you know, go for it, do what you want.
So always catch up later. Jose, how about thank you, Darian. That it really did make me cry. Thanks. I needed that just for a minute. So, Jose, how about with you? Who inspires you to lead the life that you live?
My parents, they inspire me.
Yeah.
They came from Mexico to this country and not knowing the language, and they raised 4 kids and they put us through school. We all have our own families now, and we try to stay together, but they're like the center. It's like whatever happens, whatever's going on, it's always going on at their house. I mean, they haven't been able to get their house yet, but we're trying to work on it as all my siblings and I, to try to help them get a house. But I'd say that's who inspires me the most.
Nice. Latoya, how about for you?
Well, my number 1 would be my mom. Every characteristic that I have, always to smile through it all, and, you know, just to be strong-minded and just to work hard, you know, accomplish your goals, but like never give up. That is what I've always taken from my mom. But my son also inspires me because he keeps me on track, and, you know, everything I do is for him, and I'm trying to lead by example. So character is everything. So I try to leave that to him and inspire him, and he inspired me as well.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I've got a couple more questions, and we're going to wrap it up and let y'all ask questions if you have any questions at all. But there's something I wanted to touch on with Darian and with Tony that they've been doing in our community, which I think is really remarkable. And I would say given their age, but I don't think that's quite fair to say. But in light of the racial unrest that's happened following the George Floyd murder, Darian and Tony have put together a couple different marches and a Juneteenth, I think more of an educational celebration that was held down at the Catawba County Courthouse. And I wonder, how does your house, how does your home serve as a launching pad for some of those activities that you've been able to take on this summer and just in general in your life? I know you touched on that briefly to begin with, how it's been a safe place for y'all, but I want to hear a little bit more about that.
I would like to first off by saying, and I will continue to say this, is that that's all Darian's baby.
Okay.
It really is. Because when she first came to me, I think, which event was it that you first came to me about? I was like, I want to do this. I can't remember.
It was okay.
Whatever the first event of the summer was. Juneteenth. I was just like, I honestly, right at that point in time, I was just trying to make sure that kids don't get COVID at our summer camp. So my world, even at home, I was working more than my 40 hours a week. And I didn't have the mental power to be a community activist at the time. So what I did is I just gave her my contacts and was just like, here you go, you launch it off, I'll do whatever you need me to do, as long as it's on the day of. I can't really do anything before, but I'll do anything that you ask me to do. And that's her. So now I'll let her talk.
So it was interesting. My friends and I have kind of been like quarantining, social distancing together, and when the news, like the video was released, I had just like rolled over in my bed, and like my friend was FaceTiming me, and he was like, have you seen this video? And I was like, no, but like my phone was going crazy, and so I just like watched it, and he came over and we just like all kind of like cried together and like just had that moment to like feel all the emotions that I feel like a lot of the world was feeling right then. And like kind of days of just like being shocked and like stuck followed. And like as we kind of were just like here at our house, that's when kind of like the feeling of like I have to do something. Like I was like, I can't just like sit back. I can't like, no, it was like I was too like emotional, and I had too many emotions to just let them like fill up this house. And I was like, it's bigger than us. It's bigger than this. And we just kind of started to like brainstorm, like, what can we do? And I knew that Juneteenth was right around the corner, because my mom, she was an activist when she was a little bit younger too. But has since like passed the baton to me and my friends. And yeah, we just like started to come up with ideas. We started to just plan, and our house has served as like the drop off point, the pickup point, the meeting point of like all of these larger events that we've been planning. Right now in our kitchen, we have like tons of cases of water, just like to the ceiling, that people have donated. And it's just, yeah, like we've turned our house into like a headquarters almost.
Yeah.
My mom was probably not, I think she's proud of me, but she's like, all right, we got to I'm going to give you your space. She's like mapped me out in our kitchen of like where I can store things.
It's funny. It's funny. Thank you for that. It's, there was the march that y'all led, or that Darian led a couple weeks ago for the Black women, which is pretty powerful. I had a chance to go to that as well. So we're going to be sad when you go back to school. So.
I'm trying to find ways to stay involved. I've been asked to join a few committees.
Mm-hmm.
I've like never been on a committee before, but yeah, it's a way. And now that everything has been moved to like remote and like Zoom, it's easier to like stay connected and involved and like be aware of what's happening here in Hickory, even if I am in Chapel Hill.
Right. Okay. So I got one last question for y'all. Thank you, Darian. I appreciate that. Jose, if you were, as we're kind of winding things up, if you were to leave the friends who have joined us today on this Zoom meeting with just a final thought about home, habitat, or service to the community, what would it be for you?
Well, for me, I guess home is where you make it. So as long as you're with your loved ones, your family, or whoever, your wife, your kids, I mean, that's your home. You know, it makes it so much happier. But just having that, being a homeowner, I think it's just going to give us that much more stability because we won't have to worry about anybody raising our rent or them deciding that they want to change something, or we can't paint the house, the apartment, the color we want, or we can't do any renovations. You know what I mean? Habitat is helping us move to our own home where we can live as ourselves, as who we are. I mean, we can express ourselves in that house how we want to, not worry about getting evicted at any time because they want to raise the rent or because the property owner has changed. So I mean, that's how I feel.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I know one of the things I always notice with so many families as they move in is that first thing they like to do is like paint walls the color that they want. And then usually there's a dog or a puppy that comes along soon too, or a kitten, the things that you have to pay a big deposit for if you live in an apartment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. LaToya, how about for you? The question was, what's a final thought about home and family and community that you'd like to leave folks with?
Well, as I always say, home is a true foundation everyone needs. And I see that home is Habitat's goal, and especially to make it affordable. So, I see that Habitat make it possible for us to achieve that, give us inspiration and motivation to, be able to be a homeowner or to set an environment for our families and stuff. So from building to like donations, it all helps the community, and especially it helps a family like mine. So I know if it can help a family like mine, I'm sure it'll help another family as well. So I'm grateful for Habitat, and also being able to service and help with this mission that Habitat has.
Thank you, LaToya. Either Tony or Darian, or both, but not together.
Like LaToya said, and LaToya, by the way, is a wonderful volunteer. When I was working at the Restore, she's just a great person. She would always be like, Tony, is there anything you'd like me to do? Or, so just throw that in there. But home is a foundation, like she said. And just like if we even look at statistics, homeowners are 19% higher percentage of going to college. Like it's that jump start. It's that safety. You don't have to worry about other things, and it's stability at the end of the day to pull in everybody's answers from all the different questions. It's your best starting point for a future.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with everything. I would echo everything that everyone has said about Habitat, about home ownership, and about service. Service can look like a lot of different things, and Habitat shows up for people in that way, and it shows up for people through service in so many different ways, through the relationships that we've made with the people that run Habitat, through other homeowners like LaToya that Tony has gotten a chance to meet. It's a really great program, and I hope it continues and lasts and gets to impact other people and other 21-year-olds like me.
Great. Thank y'all. Does anybody who's on the call right now, anybody have a question at all you'd like to ask? Either Whit or Faye or Lori?
Frances has a question. She's talking. I can see her lips moving, but I don't know if somebody has to unmute her.
Okay, somebody has to unmute Frances. That's a tough job to unmute Frances.
Am I unmuted now?
You are. Thank you.
I just wanted to say that these people have made such lovely comments about their appreciation of Habitat and their pride in their homes. And I want them to know, along with all the others, that Habitat's very, very proud of their homeowners. Habitat is appreciative of their homeowners and the opportunity to get to know them better during the building of their homes.
I agree.
Mhm. Thank you, Francis. Anybody else? Whit, do you have a question at all? Not to put you on the spot, but
I think you're muted.
Don't say nothing.
There. Okay. I'm sorry. It said the host had muted me, and I figured Mitzi had finally had a chance to shut
no.
me up. And
Actually, I passed off hosting to the hostess with Jenna.
well, Jenna, then it's you. Okay. No, I agree.
There was like a mute button, but there's no unmute button. So yeah, to take a moment to say, if you guys want to unmute yourselves, I gave permission, but I think you guys might have to do it on your end at some point. Sorry.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, I just agree with Francis. It is so inspiring to those of us who love Habitat and have, kind of work behind the scenes to do all the things that enable the stories that you guys tell. And so we're just really proud of you and inspired by you. And for me, anyway, hearing these stories again and again and again give me motivation to continue my support, my work in the small way that I'm able. So thank you.
Great.
And you can
Great.
mute me now, Jenna.
Thank you all for being with us. I just want to also offer a special thank you to Alex Pleasant, who's with us tonight as well. Alex has given his summer to us and has snapped us into at least social media shape at the Restore. And as he goes back to, I think it's some school in Winston-Salem that you go to, that will have I think you've made enough of an impact that's going to carry through after you're gone, but we expect to see you at Christmas time.
I'm trying to train Jeff up so we can keep it going after I leave.
There we go. Yeah.
I've been trying to get them on social media and for so long, like, Jeff, put stuff on Facebook that you're selling. And he's just like, oh, it doesn't work that way. So I'm glad that you're doing this.
It's actually touchdown. It does work. So thanks, guys. Okay.
I have one more question for the group.
Yeah.
This question came in on the chat from Scott, and it was a great question, but it was, what was one piece of advice that you have for the next family coming through the process?
I'll go first. I would just say, keep the faith and just stick to it. Just, if you have a goal to do it, just do it out of love, and just everything is possible, and faith makes it that way. So as long as you work hard to achieve that, it'll turn out to be an accomplishment. So, yes.
Jose, how about with you?
I'd say just like Latoya said, just stick with it. There's no stupid questions in Habitat. You ask anything and they'll give you an answer. I mean, sometimes you feel stupid for asking these questions, but I mean, if you don't ask them, then you never figure it out. So just ask as many questions as you can. If you feel like you're lost in something, they'll help you. They'll guide you. I mean, there's no way you can actually not find an answer. I mean, everybody's always there to help you, and I mean, it's very appreciative. I mean, everybody helps you so much. They're so friendly. I mean, it's like you never feel like you're bothering anybody. It's like you've got a question for them, and they're there to help you. And if they don't have it today, within a day or two, you'll get your answer. You just stay with it, stick with it, Don't give up.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's to the folks like Tina and Jenna and Richard and Andrew and Hannah. I really hope y'all hear that, and it's just my appreciation for the way that y'all lead and work with people so well. It's an accomplishment for y'all. So, okay, so I hear the dogs are howling in the background, and
That was my son on Xbox, I think. Sorry.
Somebody, so if we don't have any other questions, I think we're going to call tonight and thank you and let you know that we're going to try this again in a couple of weeks with a different topic. And I appreciate you being here with us so much tonight and learning a little bit about Habitat and our families. I always ask people as you leave to become our apostles. If you have a chance to tell people about what you've learned tonight, please do that. So there's always questions people have about Habitat, like Jose said, and they're afraid to ask. So you find that when you offer information, it's helpful to folks as well, because there's a lot of questions about how Habitat works and how we change lives. So again, appreciate you being here. Please stay safe. Be careful. 3 W's. Just wash your hands. Keep that distance. And what's the third one? I forget. Let's see. Oh, wear a mask. That's it. So, yeah. Okay, guys. Take care. And I think Jenna's going to turn us off. Okay.